Welcome to In the Moment with Stephen Sipes, a weekly conversation of exploration filled with fun, funny, mysterious, intriguing, revealing, engaging, eye-opening, and educational topics of discussion. When we are in the moment, we never know what we're going to get. We're not teaching, we're talking. We're not educating, we're exploring. When we are in the moment, we are open. We are one. We are all one, forever beings. Indeed.
Welcome back, everyone, to In the Moment with Stephen Sipes. I'm the co-host of this wonderful experience. My name is Matthew Jensen, and I'm here with my good brother, Stephen Sipes. How are you today, Stephen?
Good brother versus bad brother.
I have one of those too.
Are they really bad brothers? I can't imagine.
No, of course not.
No.
I love all my brothers, including
Yeah.
my real one.
Well, I wish I had a brother. I always wished for a brother.
Right here.
There you are.
Yeah.
Love you so much. Thank you, everyone, for coming back to us. We're very thrilled that you're with us, and we're happy to have this opportunity to broadcast from the Summerhill Pyramid. Being in the moment is our very beautiful subject. In the moment, we are in touch with all there is, so to speak. It's a very wonderful place to receive. And we men have a little harder time in receiving than women do. We are XY chromosomes, which makes us a little bit antsy and aggressive. And women are a little bit more laid back and receiving and physically receivers. So it's easier for them, but we can do it. We can, right, Matthew?
We sure can. It all starts with an awareness, right?
It starts with an awareness, and it starts with a pondering of who the heck are we in this glorious universe, right? Look out upon the sunrise. Wow, so magnificent, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we want to know who we are, and the answer is we're grand beings in many ways that we don't realize how grand we are. And I'd love to bring that forth in every way that we can, because that's the basis of us not giving away our power anymore.
Agreed.
Yes.
I'm with you on that endeavor 100% to see more people waking up, especially, and it seems to be happening a lot.
It's happening beautifully. Oh my gosh, so beautifully. I'm so thrilled. We started this meditations in the pyramid for new moons and full moons and the equinoxes and solstices back in 1997 when we built the pyramid, because the pyramid represents a place where, it's the ideal chamber to go within, so to speak.
Yeah.
And that's how it started, and it's mushroomed into something very beautiful. And the predictions of there being a new beginning at the end of the Mayan calendar, which is December 21st, 2012. All of the rock of the Hopi Nation, who are the most respected nation of all indigenous people. They pinned that date as being the separation where the line goes up to continue our greedy, selfish, materialistic ways versus going back down to where we are conduits of spirit, so to speak, where we're open and one with all of nature. We are nature.
Yes.
Right? Not, focused on our ego selves and stuff like that. So, it's interesting how we come to this wonderful place of progression. And especially now, like you say, it's opening up beautifully and just in time.
Just in the nick of time.
Yeah, our planet is suffering so much and our bodies are suffering so much. We can't operate on the food we eat. It's literally poison. So, I don't want to be negative. I think we're doing great. Yeah.
We're doing great.
Yes.
So, speaking of not being negative, let's talk about a cemetery. No, I'm kidding. I want to lead into that a little better. On the last episode, we talked about, you mentioned the Butterfly Memorial and the beautiful situation that's unfolding with respect to that, and how it can be expanded on and opened to even more, people of various ages. And Another project that you're working on that I think is absolutely fascinating is this idea of a green cemetery, and it's something that you're working on the property of Summerhill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the property at Summerhill, we have an 8 acre piece of the 80 acres that's dedicated to the Memorial Park, the Butterfly Garden Memorial Park,
Hmm.
for children mostly, but all ages. Excuse me. And it's connected to the 160 acres that we have here in Kelowna, where our plan is to have thousands of call them opportunities for
Sure.
those who want to do something that's in harmony with the earth versus being cremated or buried in a regular conventional cemetery with
Mm.
roads and sidewalks and headstones and concrete graves and wooden graves and metal graves and all the stuff that's in the green cemetery. We'd use an auger and go straight down. We'd go,
Hmm.
instead of 6 feet, we'd probably go down 10 feet.
Hmm.
The person would go down feet first, and then above their heads, we would put in topsoil and plant trees that would have fruit. Okay,
Hmm.
so it becomes a farming opportunity.
Okay.
And of course, today we have the GPS, so we can locate the graves because, according to law, we must be able to go back to the remains at any time to
Hmm.
investigate their dentistry in case it's involved in a criminal case or something like that. So,
Sure. Yeah.
so we have that technology, and we can put them in a sacred place where they have the ability to be back with the earth in a
Mm.
a hemp bag or burlap or whatever, so that nature can take us back into the earth. It's a
Sure.
beautiful way to be. I want to be there. I don't want to be in a conventional cemetery.
No.
I think there are others that would like it. And a beautiful discovery is that it's a fraction of the cost. I mean, we could do
Really.
this. Oh, yeah, it'll be less than a third of conventional
Wow.
cost. Yeah. And we found out that communities across Canada and probably across the world have to pay for the burials of their homeless, which
Mm.
costs taxpayers a lot of money.
Yeah.
So if we could offer communities a way to ship their bodies by, ship the remains by air, and they
Hmm.
do that, they have that service.
Yeah.
The 160 acres is just a half an hour from the airport. We can bring them up and do that and save communities all over the world probably two-thirds of the normal cost of burying people.
Sounds wonderful.
The taxpayers will throw me kisses. Steve.
Yes. Right. Right. So, in addition to the obvious benefit of it taking a lesser cost,
Yes.
and the other obvious benefit of it being, I almost want to use the word more reverent to the connection between human and earth.
Yeah.
Uh, is it also by going vertical? Is that creating a benefit of like space? Like, is it a better use of space?
Oh, it's huge. Yes. By going vertical, we can put a lot more people in a smaller place.
Hmm.
And on any wilderness spot, like this is a beautiful mountain place with a view of the lake of 100 and, 130-kilometer lake.
Yeah.
The the wilderness itself, you don't want to disturb the wilderness, right? So if you
Right.
have a particular wetland area, you don't touch that. If you have a clump
Hmm.
of old growth forest, you don't touch that. You just go in the places where it's easy to do and right to do, so to speak. And so we'd
Yeah.
cluster them there. We would do clusters rather than mowing it all down and taking out all the trees. And no, we would never do
Right.
that, right? So that's the whole beauty of being one with nature. My son Gabe is the biodynamic representative for Canada. He goes to
Mm.
Germany to the meetings, and he would have
Yeah.
everything be biodynamic and in concert with nature. He's even talking about putting a fish pond in, which would be beautiful.
Oh.
Yeah, so we'd have food production on the graves with the fruit trees, and we'd have fish. So we could have fish and berries, which are
Wow.
two of the four food chiefs of the indigenous people. You know,
Mm,
there's the fish,
right.
the berries, and there's the roots, and we have the roots there too. So actually, three.
Mm,
Oh my gosh, we have four because there's the wild animals also, right? The
right.
deer
Yeah.
and the bear, and there's all deer and bear up there. So we'd have all four food groups right there. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it would be really beautiful. It'd be the Four Chiefs Cemetery. Maybe that's we just renamed it in this recording.
Maybe. How
Maybe
about
so.
that? One more aspect of this that I'm of course excited to explore. I know it's not written in stone yet that it will happen, but the idea of this being low tech, high tech, and of course we here on my side of this video have a product called Maxogram,
Yes.
where it raises an interesting idea that in the case of especially what you're doing, that you could actually use our technology to go and truly learn and
Yes.
or memorialize and or remember
Yes.
the people that are there. Could you
Yeah, I was
give
going
me
to
your vision on
say,
that?
sure. I actually invested in a camera that floats, so that
Oh
I
yeah.
could video the ride up to the 160 acres. It's such a
Yeah,
beautiful ride. I thought, well, everybody should see this. And so that,
absolutely.
yeah, you go past Layer Cake Mountain, which is absolutely stunning,
Yeah,
and the views there and so on, and the dirt road that gets there. But the point is, each burial I think should be videoed
yeah,
with the ancestry of the person. As much as we know, sometimes if you're dealing with people that are homeless, you don't know their ancestry and you don't know their religion. So we'll say prayers in as many religions as we can think of to make
yeah.
sure we try to cover them all, right?
Beautiful.
Yeah, and had that all archived. And my new daughter-in-law is an archivist.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
she's very busy though. Oh my gosh, and I haven't even asked her.
Ah,
I'm gonna be in trouble
oh my
now.
gosh. Yeah,
Oh god.
I'm sure it would be an honor.
Yeah, I would love for her to do it because it would be a
Yeah,
great treat to have maxograms of each and every internment, and that would be a beautiful thing for the families to discover. Maybe they discover 10 years later that and there they had a service that was done in honor of their child that was buried there. My gosh,
absolutely.
right? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's important to keep those records.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, I think it's a very exciting thing. It's a very noble thing that you're doing to lead this and to look at something that is fairly traditional for thousands of years and see if there's a new better way to do it.
yeah. Well, it wouldn't
So,
be the first time people are buried feet first.
oh, it wouldn't. Okay.
No, no, it's been done for thousands of years. It's
Oh,
it's
it
a
has.
yes, it's a I think a dignified way,
Hmm.
and I think in many ways I prefer it, and takes less space, and we
Yeah.
want to be respectful of our space. We're
Yeah.
growing so fast now. I know I don't want to get carried away with this, but when I was born, there were 2.5 billion of us. And in my lifetime, we're approaching 8 billion. That's more than three
Right.
times. And the prediction is we're climbing at such a rate that we're going to hit 10 billion in a short time. This
Wow.
is, yeah. So, we have to be prepared for this kind of impact on the planet, which is very
Yeah.
sensitive. And burials, I think, we have to realize that they're part of life. Death is part of life. So,
Yeah.
and these bodies are you know, part of us, but they are not us. We are the soul. We are eternal souls. We are forever beings. We are, go off in the tangent on that one.
Oh, yeah. You sure could.
Yeah, I could. And I think a lot of us are starting to feel that way and knowing who we really are.
Yeah.
Yeah, the word is immortal. Yeah, and there's a beautiful quote about there is no more beautiful understanding than our immortality.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I think that sounds wonderful, and maybe we'll do another check-in on that in the future. Let's take just a moment break, and then we'll come back, and I got something else to talk to you about.
Sounds great. Thank you, bro.
All right.
Thank you all.
Okay, we are back, and I am so excited to talk about this next thing because it's been an ongoing conversation, and there's been hiccups and hurdles along the way that Mister, you just keep getting over those hurdles in the most beautiful, unimaginable ways, and I love to watch it unfolding. And most recently, one of our mutual associates was involved in a process with you to continue the further development of your culinary center for humanity. And I would just love to get an update on that.
No, thank you so much, brother. You introduced me to Peter.
Yeah,
He's the founder and CEO of Mastermind Studios, and he's a brilliant man. My God, he's just so much talent in what he does is so wonderful. And so when we got the approval from the city of Kelowna to proceed with our drawings for the Culinary College for Humanity and Forum for Food Production on the Planet, the next step was they directed us to the ALC, the Agricultural Land Commission.
yeah,
And this is the step that requires, I would say, everyone to be part of, because agriculture is us. I mean, without agriculture, we don't have anything, right?
very true.
Yeah, and in fact, the whole thrust of this college is to educate us all to be self-sufficient and to bring food production home, and to plant gardens and maybe even have chickens and cows and
Yeah,
get our food production back to local versus long distance.
sure.
It's part of that. So the Agricultural Land Commission is on the fence. They don't know that they should allow a school in and on an agricultural operation, because they think that maybe a precedent will be set, and it's the beginning of having people stay overnight, and it's not a good trend for them. They want to preserve it as agriculture only, right? So
Yes.
our thrust and my idea, thanks to you and I and meeting Peter at Mastermind Studios, was to do a short video. It's going to be about 6 or 7, maybe 8 minutes long, interviewing almost all of the people that are so excited about having this wonderful school, this wonderful place where the land is the classroom. That's the difference. All cooking schools and all conference centers and hotels and all those things take place in cities, right? This is the
Hmm.
country. This is the residential area. This is the farming area. This is, a large vineyard. We're 80 acres of natural organic growth. Putting it here makes it one with nature, makes the student one with nature. They can get down and pick the grapes. They can find out how winemaking is made, how it's done. They can find out how our vegetable garden works and how our restaurant feeds thousands of people a week
Yeah.
on food that we grow. And they will have gardens in on the building. We're actually creating more agriculture. We're building it all on the building. The roofs are all
Beautiful.
gardens. Everything is an agricultural experience. So with this video, I think we've covered some wonderful things, and we've also made a very wonderful opening showing how the indigenous people are the rightful, I would say, leaders in being one with nature, so to speak, and learning themselves, relearning how to grow and prepare foods. And our first students were 15 students from the local nation here, West Bank
Oh,
First Nation. Yeah, and
oh.
because of COVID, it was canceled. But
Mm.
yeah, they lined up right away because they would get a certificate allowing them to apply for jobs in the food industry. They would
Mm.
be proficient at cooking and maybe learning how to butcher an animal and how to grow things, everything. So it's very much a co-venture, if you will, with the First Nations people.
Yeah.
We've designed the atrium. It's an oval, four-story atrium. My good friend Moose has designed it to be
Oh.
yeah, like a kakuli
Oh.
with the big beams,
Yeah.
and that's a statement. The whole place is a statement of coming back to working with nature and being with nature. We've also reduced the size of it from 150 suites to 150 beds, which is
Okay.
substantially smaller. Okay,
Yeah.
we're basically now only featuring, or should I say, featuring dormitory rooms, right? With
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, with kitchens in the hallways for the students to be able to practice making food for each other and all the
Oh,
things that
cool.
they do. Yeah, so and large classrooms and the atrium for the conferences, and all the gardens. So it's all coming together so beautifully.
Mm,
And we have the wonderful help of the founders of Hollyhock, which has been for 40 years welcoming 120 students at a time for a
mm,
full week of learning with workshops and things like that,
mm-hmm.
and classes. And with their example, which we followed almost to the T, we will be able to offer accredited classes and build on relationships that the students will make with each other. And this is a
Yeah.
very key thing. So yeah, the whole food production in the world can be addressed here. It's an important, you know, project, vision, I should say.
The whole food production for the whole world does seem like a pretty important project. Yeah.
Urgent. Yes.
Yeah.
We're not putting down any practices. We don't say, darn those GMO guys or anything like
Right.
that. We want to work with everybody. We want everyone to be able to feel comfortable to come here and to listen and to contribute. It's an open forum for food production in the world, as well as a
Beautiful.
classic, culinary school. So yeah, it's a wonderful combination in a place where permaculture is what we practice and what we lead. Summerhill is the permaculture leader. So yeah, we're proud of that.
Abs- That's absolutely something very worthwhile being proud of.
Thank
Proud
you.
to be associated with it just by association with you. It's
Oh,
amazing.
thank you, Matthew. Yeah,
Um,
each day of the cost includes the bed, the materials, and the food. So it's a one priced per day thing. It's each course is different days. There'll be some 3-day courses, some 7, some 2-week courses. There's even a 3-month
okay.
course. Yeah.
Hmm. Wonderful. Can't wait to see it come to fruition. It's just, like I said in the beginning, been a long journey and there's been hiccups and hurdles, but it's still going forward and it's going to be an amazing thing when it's done.
We're very excited about it, and we think it's going to work. Everyone's patting us on the back and saying how beautiful it is. So yeah,
Yeah. I would even, I don't know if I've mentioned it to you, but I've caught wind of it through other people when I happened to be talking about you here in Alberta that have heard of it. And they're like, what is that? Sounds so interesting. So it's definitely, you've struck on something that's resonating with people.
oh, thank you. I wrote a letter
Yeah.
to Prince Charles and asked him to be our honorary dean because he wrote
Oh,
that. Yeah, he wrote that wonderful book called Harmony. In
mm,
2010, it was published, and it's all
yeah.
about food production in the world.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah,
Mm,
he's a great insight to things, and he's all about organic and local. So we'd be honored
wonderful.
and thrilled to have him. And
No kidding.
yeah, and he loves our wine. We sent our wine to the Queen, who visited
Yeah.
us here, and
Yeah.
she sent back a note of thanks. So
Wonderful.
maybe we have a little inside thing there.
There's a little chance at least,
Little
and it's worth
chance.
exploring. You never know.
Yes. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, listen, what a wonderfully positive educational experience this has been with you once again.
Bless your heart. Thank you
Just
so much, Matthew.
thank you, Stephen. I learned so much. There's always something new. I find it so funny that we can have literally almost the same topic of conversation 3 times in a row, and I walk away each time going, how did I not think of that? That's what a great idea. So we got to keep pulling all that information out of you and making the world a better place.
Oh, thank you so much. Nice to hear
Yeah.
that. Bless your heart.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that's it for another episode of In the Moment. You
Okay.
don't happen to have a joke on the top of your head for this week's episode since it's a little bit lighter, do you?
A joke. Oh my gosh. No, my jokes are corny, Matthew. Don't ask me to tell jokes.
That's the beauty of them. There are
No.
people who are actively seeking good quality dad jokes nowadays.
Well, what's red and goes up and down?
Hmm, I don't know.
Oh, tomato in an elevator. Come on.
Oh my gosh. I love it so much. And I love you too.
Love
Thank you
you,
everyone for tuning in.
Thank you.
And we'll see you on the next episode.
Okay.